I'll try anything, I like my food and I'll try anything once, you know what I mean? So I bounced in there yesterday and I was talking to the boy, and you said his name, is it Kazim?
Aye, Kasim, aye.
Kazim, whatever, and I was saying to him, I was asking him some advice and that about the goat, what's the best way to cook it, blah, blah, blah. And I said I was listening to the radio show. What radio show were you listening to? He was talking about the shop, and I said to him, he said, Tommy comes in here all the time, and Tommy's brand new. I said, he's a cool guy. And he says, he says, if you phone him up, tell him I was asking for. I said, what's your name, mate? He says, just to say it was Kaz. I says, cool. Yeah, the guy was brand new.
I was in talking the other day, because I'd went there, and I've been there twice the last week, because I was, who was it? It was a parrot, actually. He'd mentioned about it, and I thought, he mentioned about the goat, and I said, here, I think somebody had mentioned to him, you need to get it pre-order or something, you get it frozen or something. I was like, you can get it right away up at Thingway, Solly's, you get it there. And with that, I'd had it a while ago, and I thought, I'm about to go and get some of that, get myself some goat, and then when I cooked it, as I say, it was, that one I cooked, the first one I cooked was just absolutely spectacular. Have you got it on a slow cooker, did you say, aye? I put it in a slow cooker. I've seen that recipe you sent me on the internet, but on Twitter. But what I've done is I clocked another one. It was a lot easier to deal with, and it's a Jamaican recipe. It's just for like Jamaican jerk spices and all that. A bit of yogurt, a bit of coconut oil and that, and onions, garlic. The Jamaican one.
It's in the now. It's only going now. It'll be ready tomorrow. But no, it was funny because when I was talking to the boy Kaz at the counter and that, I said to him that it's a radio show, the guy was talking about it, I've never thought about goat, I never knew where you could buy it and blah blah blah. And he's like, who are you listening to? Is that Glasgow? I don't know. This is Tommy, the guy Tommy in Glasgow. He's like, Tommy comes in here, he's a cool guy. And he said to me, that's the guy that phones up the Rangers players, isn't it? And I was laughing, I was pushing myself, that's the guy that phones up the Rangers players. He's a nice guy. But I tell you what I'm phoning for, by the way, I should have done my due diligence, as they say, and I've no, because I'm just looking at your Twitter feed there, and I'm looking at this abuse you're caught about giving a disabled person a hard time. Now I come in from work, you've maybe not remember speaking to me before, I'm the guy that drives the tankers and that, and I work night shift, right, so I come in at 3 and 4 in the morning, and I check out what's going on my Twitter feed and all that. And I've seen that Jerry Glasgow, who, I don't know what it was, if it was a guy, woman, an animal, was giving you a hard time, and I listened to you, the following night, I listened to you one night after you're on, if you get me. I download it in the morning and I listen to you at night, you know what I mean? And I was listening to you responding to her, and clearly now it's a her. And I'm looking at that there, and what is that old bastard Jimmy Lowell all about? He's obviously a hurting old Lowell-loving prick, isn't he? That you've ditched him.
Aye, the other day, because I was just sick every day that... I mean, he tried to be nice when I had the Irish boy that phoned in, remember, the other night?
I've seen that.
And it was a snidey comment. And he's always been like that, and I just had enough, and then at that point, I think I used a few choice 2 words, just basically to tell him to go, because...
I've seen it all. I've seen a lot of it. I've read it all. I've seen it all.
I couldn't be any more blunter than a thing, so I just unfollowed him at that point. I took him off of following me, and I stopped following him, and then he starts giving it all the false prophet and the prophet, which is bang out of order. Okay, I was out of order for calling him what I did, but I just snapped, because at the end of the day, I've had so much negativity at me in the last year, and if you listen to any of my stuff, anybody who comes on and starts being, I'll speak to a zombie or a hun or anybody, but as soon as they start being negative or being snidey, then I'll go to the ground and let's roll with it, and we'll fucking see where it has to go. But if somebody gives me the decency and the humanity and treats me in a good way, then fine, we'll go along that basis. But he just fucking pushed the barrel every time, and I just couldn't be arsed with it anymore, and that's how I snapped. I'm tolerant for most people for most of the time, but when they finally just keep going on the same bit as he kept doing, and I just felt it was just too net. Even, as I say, try to be positive, be saying, it was a good stuff, keep it up, keep doing that, 10 out of 10. Instead of doing the stuff that you do all the time, keep doing that. So who's he to tell me to keep doing what I need to do? But I do, I mean, I do it because I want to do it.
See, to be honest with you, in my opinion, he was being disparaging, definitely. That's what the way I took it. But see, to be honest with you, I've been listening to your stuff.
He's always been like that.
I know. I've listened to all your stuff for over 2 years now, right? And I listen to every one of your shows, apart from the ones I come on because I don't want to hear myself. I don't listen to the ones I come on and speak to you on. There was a couple I think I might even fucking fell asleep on the phone, and I've never listened to them because I don't like. I get embarrassed listening to myself. You know what I mean? You're probably the same. You listen to your shows back? I bet you don't.
I don't listen to them all, mate. No, but I save them just for one pure reason because I want my. Well, I'm not going to be here forever, and just maybe my wains when I'm not here might be able to hear that when I'm not here, you know. So maybe they can listen in for hours and hours. So that's only 6 reasons why I do it, mate. But anyway, sorry.
Right. But as I say, I think about old Lawwell, Jimmy Lawwell. He's an old. I don't want to start using bad language. No, it's 1 in the morning. He's an old dick. I listened to another guy on Home Boys the other week. His name's Tom Donnelly. What another old fucking fanny. He's there in, I think it's Canada, so I think he's one of the presidents of one of the North American mobs, supporters associations or something. An absolute PLC cocksucking old bastard. Your mate St. Sixtus Paulie will tell you about him because I've seen him on Twitter slaughtering this old fanny. And this is the problem, there's too many of these old cunts. They don't want to listen to us younger guys. No, alright, I know you're 41, 42, I'm 35, coming on 36. We're not that young, but we've got a different outlook to these guys, you know what I'm saying? And I don't like the way you got to listen to what the old guy says. And it's like your man, the parrot, talks about, you know, the Catholic shame. You can't talk about the Catholic Church in bad light because it's not the done thing. No, it is a done thing. If you see injustice and you see things that happen in a manner in which you don't appreciate and you don't want to take part in, you've got to speak up. Because if you don't speak up and you don't say your piece, then you're letting yourself and you're letting everybody else down, in my opinion. And I'm actually really, really annoyed. I'm fucking shaking. I'm not shaking. I'm almost shaking the rage when I had a quick look there. I only looked at a couple of tweets on your timeline, and I see fucking this Jerry Glasgow, whoever the fuck she apparently is, was we know now, fucking folk crying about fucking giving women a hard time, giving disabled people a hard time. You don't know who the fuck MD is on Twitter. I might be sitting here with fucking 6 legs for all you know. You know what I'm saying? If
mate,
you look at my Twitter,
I put down, right, she came on and phoned me up, right, and the fucking show earlier on, and I deleted the show because I don't want fucking scum like that fucking on it. And she's like, you better meet me and I'm going to close you down. I'm going to close you down.
I've seen her say that.
I put on the thing with, somebody called me a fucking paramedic. I was laughing that fucking much. And then the first thing, he goes like, why are you being fucking angry to the disabled? I was like, what are you fucking talking about? I didn't even know it was a fucking, I thought it was a fucking guy that was talking to you. It was a fucking woman who phoned in.
My point.
And I didn't even know it was a fucking, I was trying to distinguish it was a guy. It was a fucking woman who was on telling me to fucking meet her. Mm-hmm. For what?
Maybe she wants you to bother her. Maybe she wants you to...
No, don't go that way. Don't go that way, mate. Look, don't even fucking... I didn't even know for that, mate. But anyway, c'est la vie, mate. I'm the cunt for thing, mate. I'm all the cunts, mate. But at the end of the day, he called me a fucking... He called me a prophet and a fucking enemy, mate. And that's what made my blood go even mad because, like you say, these old people, mate, he doesn't know what he's saying, know what I mean? So...
But my point I'm trying to make is, Tommy, right, for that Twitter feed that Jerry Glasgow, whoever the fuck that is, right, you don't know if she's got fucking 8 legs. You don't know if that's a spider that's tweeting you. So, see him giving you a hard time about her possibly being disabled. That fucking sticks in my throat because how do you know she's fucking disabled when she's giving you tweets and she's trying to dig you out? You don't know who the fuck she is. You're responding to a name and you're firing back.
Who's the name that I say I dedicate this in every single show that I do it to?
Yeah, your mate, what's his name again? Sorry, I forgot his name.
Mate.
Aye, that's right, aye.
Do you know what had rang him, mate?
Aye, the boy for the planes, Eddie Martin, aye, that's right.
The part of his leg fucking cut off.
Aye.
And hold on, I dedicate every show to somebody who listened to me and defended me against a negative Hun, okay? Mm-hmm. So that makes him the best of the best. A guy who didn't know me and he defended me against a negative Hun who was being horrible to me, right? Mm-hmm. And he came out, part of his leg, and he taught me what being a Celtic fan is and being part of the real Celtic community, okay? People who show compassion, and he was disabled. And so for somebody to say I'm horrible to disabled people...
No, I know that. I know that.
My favourite person who came at me in his last 2 years of his life. And thank God I managed to get him a bird, you wee bastard.
Got him a bird?
about that wee lassie from Manchester came up and was nice to him for a bit before he died, you know, and so he got called someone who is horribly disabled when I wouldn't be sitting doing this, because he sat there helping other people who had the same problem as him, had an amputee, had part of their limbs sawn off. And I realised that when people used to phone into radio stations, like whatever, and say, I like this cunt here, he's funny, he might be deranged or whatever. So I realised I had a wee bit of a talent for putting a smile on people who maybe, they just, you know. So that's all I tried today. So to get called a fucking prophet and a false prophet and somebody who's horribly disabled people, when every single show I dedicate it with my love to my mate who was disabled.
Wow.
So my heart's broke, mate, because of Celtic. My heart's broken because of fucking trolls like her, like that fucking bitch Angela fucking Hegarty, who turned round and said to me a month ago, that's how I never did a show for about a month, because she turned round and says, oh, the likes of you fucking shouldn't even bother going to Celtic. Well, the likes of me don't go because of the likes of dirty, lousy bastards who think they're tickets, who think they've got an opinion that's better. They can turn around and say, oh, these people are scum, or these people are this, or these people are that. Fucking backbiting, dirty, low-life fuckwits. And that's how I turn my tongue the way it is, because the only way I can describe dirty, low-life, backstabbing, backbiting fucking bastards who turn round and fucking do that to people are just fucking scum of the earth.
Well, Tommy, I apologise for forgetting your man Eddie Martin's name, but I remember it's a boy for the Plains, and he's a nephew of John Clark, right? I know that for listening. I forgot his name there for a minute. But what I'm going to say is, anybody that wants to attack you and accuse you of being derogatory towards disabled people or any people have never listened to one of your shows, because you are no fucking... You don't defame anybody. You're the same as me. You sound, well, I'm assuming you're the same as me. You're a socialist. You're a left-winger, right? We don't big out fucking disabled people for abuse, right? So anybody would level that kind of abuse at you doesn't know nothing about you. Doesn't know... I don't know much about you apart from what I hear if you're talking on this radio, mate, but anybody that's gone on about that, like you, sorry about you, is talking out their arse. So don't be taking that to your heart too much, because as you said, you said the famous word there, trolls. I don't get involved in all that trolling shit, because you go through that internet and it's full of people that just want to upset people, want to hurt people, want to make people fucking up. And see, that's just, I don't get that at all, because you look at the Facebook, you look at Twitter, it's an absolutely wonderful vehicle if you use it in the correct manner, but at the same time, it's a very dangerous thing if you use it the wrong way. And that's my big gripe with the internet. And as I say...
Now listen, mate, I could be called a troll, right, but I put my opinion out there, and see when somebody comes to me, then I'll just tap back and just say, look, get to fuck.
Oh, aye. Yeah, you're taking them on.
Aye, because the people who thing me, you know what I mean, the people who dare that, that person who openly looks to be offended, who's just come into my fucking thing, you know what I mean? People who look to be openly offended and start fucking spouting stuff like that. Mm-hmm. She didn't even know, he used to talk, when he used to come on the show, he used to cuss and swear, calling things bastard, cunts all the time. Mm-hmm. You go and listen to any of the calls that I made with him, you go and listen to him the amount of times he would be
aye.
I've heard them, I know.
I've heard them loads of times, and I actually quite enjoyed listening to you and him, because you used to have some good old ding-dongs, but at the same time, if you don't noticed, he's not really been on. Remember that night he get fucking hunted off the phone? Remember his wife must have gone and hit me her head with a frying pan or something? Remember that night? Right? But is he phoned you since then? Because I've not heard him since then, I don't think.
No, because I battered him for pillar to post, he couldn't take it.
So he's never phoned you for then, right? And another thing that I think will pub his nose out of joint is because now you're a pro-independence man, and he's an old fucking... I don't know what you would want to call him. Right. I don't want to be too disparaging to the old guy, right? But he's a unionist and that. He wants to stick with the union because he stays down there in fucking Englandshire. That's fair enough. That's up to him. But, maybe that's why he doesn't want to talk to you anymore. And like I said, I had a first look there at some of the stuff on your timeline. I was raging. That's why I phoned you. And I see him. He's heavily involved in all sorts of shit. You'll not be seeing it because you blocked him. But he's obviously a hurting old prick because you're not talking to him anymore. And I hope he's listening. I hope he's fucking listening. And I tell you what, I followed him on Twitter and he followed me, but I've shot him as well because